Welcome to the Friday Power Lunch, a weekly show amplifying the voices of the Virginia Grassroots. Each week, we provide engaging conversations about politics, culture, and women making change. Produced by the unstoppable women of Network Nova, our motto is, when we vote, we win. The Friday Power Lunch is recorded before a live Zoom audience. Follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and show us some love and become a sponsor through Patreon. The Friday Power Lunch. Badass women getting things done.
And if you're new to the Friday Power Lunch, maybe you're from a different state. Today, we are going to be talking a lot about Virginia because Virginia is going to be really important on the mind of many coming up in this year and setting the groundwork for 24 and 25. So we have so much going on, and what happens in Virginia is going to be important. So if you're new, welcome to the crew. We definitely believe in small d democracy, civic engagement, and we love to go big and bold, and we like to do it together. So we're so glad you're here. And if you don't know about us, we got our start back in 2017. Network Nova was formed. We're a bunch of badass, fearless trailblazers. We really believe in inspiring, engaging, and empowering people specifically in the grassroots. We believe in year-round organizing and working in coalition and making sure that we really drive people to action and make it fun, create that community where shit can happen. That's good. So we're glad you're here. And Friday Power Lunch came out of our work, and that's what every week we do this at noon, and we're glad, and we get all kind of guests from across the country, authors, different voices and advocacy, and we have a lot here to talk about because we will be going down. It's all about the legislative year now. We're in session. It's going to start next Wednesday in Virginia. So this will really set up our fights around reproductive rights, and that's going to drive our work around everything in the next coming years until women, girls, people have these rights guaranteed. And lastly, we also do the Women's Summit. That's our annual signature event, and we'll be doing it again this year in July. Mark your calendars, July 22nd, 23rd. We're going to have a big statewide event full of those O's I talked about. So, and pretty soon, in a few weeks, we'll have the opportunity for you guys all to sign up and learn more about what we'll be doing in July with the Women's Summit to make sure that we go big, we go all in for Virginia. So welcome. Happy New Year. Let's get this party started. Yay! All right. It is Friday, January 6th. Welcome to the Friday Power Lunch. I'm Catherine White, your host, bringing you the guests, the issues, the action, fueling the grassroots community to get things done and to make politics fun. So I'm so excited that we have these wonderful advocates with our guests today. We're going to go big and bold with them. I'm going to ask you all maybe what your intentions or resolutions are when I bring you up to say hello. Let's start with Aaron Rouse from Senate District 7. He's a candidate. Aaron?
Hello. How's everyone doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? And what is tell me about what your resolutions are. I'm going to guess, but go ahead.
It's to make sure we protect women's rights in this 2023 General Assembly session. That is my expectation, that we will get that done because we are putting in the work. We are excited, and we run a great campaign thus far. We have 4 days left to go to win this election and protect women's rights in the Commonwealth.
I'm so glad you're here because you are a focus, and we're going to, Fennell Norton, co-host up there. Hello, Fennell. She'll be interviewing you, and I think the people in this room and across Virginia are realizing that this can really secure, at least for this session, women's rights. So we're, winning that seat. And actually, we always say, do it for Elaine, let's get that seat, right? Mm-hmm. So Absolutely. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you, Aaron. I'm so glad you're here. And next up, this is very exciting. A lot of folks don't know Jade Harris, but Jade Harris is also in a special election in House District 24. Jade, are you on the screen? Could you say a big hello? Are you in your...
Jade, we just lost Jade. So as soon as she comes back, we'll bring her on.
Well, Jade is out. What I love about being a candidate, she's on the road, driving to her next event and knocking doors. So we understand that. But Jade,
I'm sorry to jump in. Jade actually is here, and yes, she's in a very rural part of her district, which is all of her district.
Okay, here she is. All right, let me add her. Okay.
Yep.
There. Oh wait.
well, you can stay.
Lindley.
Hi, Lindley. Happy New Year.
Hi.
Lindley.
Happy New Year. How are y'all?
I'm good. Political director of Rural Ground Game. And what do you, in talking, if you bring Jade up too, but talk to us about Jade just for briefly. We need to get kick ass in this race for Jade. I mean, you just are just doing so much for her.
All right.
I know you're.
There
she is.
I've added Jade. Stair, can you make her a co-host so that we can hear her?
There we go. So Jade just want to, as soon as we make you a co-host, you can say hello and just say hello to everybody, and then we'll interview in a few minutes. So is she a co-host now?
While we're waiting for that, she'll jump in just a second. We have had less than, sorry about that. We have had less than 3 weeks from knowing that this was even going to be a race until election. And Jade has jumped in and done an incredible job. I have not seen a candidate go from 0 to 100 this fast, and really, really appreciate the community that has dropped everything they were doing to get to work. Jade, can you talk? Because we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, just say, could you give us
Jade,
a hello?
Oh, there it goes. Okay, hi everybody.
There you go. Hi Jade, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year. I'm really happy to be here. I guess if we're dropping New Year intentions, I want to bounce off of Erin and say, yeah, I'm here to help protect reproductive rights, get the job done, keep everyone safe and happy.
I love it. Well, thank you for that. And get ready. We're really excited to meet you. Fennell will be interviewing you both. Thank you, Lindley. It's good to see you for the new year, my friend. Okay, so next up, let's meet some of our guests that are going to be here for Lobby Day. We have Susan Losberg, co-lead of Moms Demand Action in Norfolk and Virginia Beach. Hello, Susan. Happy New Year. And tell me about what's your intention? Resolution.
My intention, living in Virginia Beach and Norfolk, I would say my biggest intention, aside from gun violence prevention, is to get Aaron Rouse elected to state senate. That's what we're working on. We have our deadline just January 10th, and that's all we're doing. We want Aaron Rouse in that senate, and he's going to protect our women's rights through this General Assembly session. Yeah,
and having him there for Moms Demand with the gun rights policy that you want will be equally important. So thank you, Susan, for stepping in. And then next up, everybody may know Kim Bobo. She's a wonderful, awesome human being, and she's also the executive director of Virginia Interfaith Center for Public Policy. Great to see you. Happy New Year. What's on your mind? You have a special thought or intention for this year, Kim?
Well, I think the main thing for us is, every House and Senate seat is up. And so this is an opportunity, the General Assembly that starts next week, everybody says there's probably not going to be a lot that happens, but we could make a lot happen in 24 if we can all get involved in the 23 election. So it's a great year for that.
It's like the opportunity.
Opportunity.
There, opportunity. Thank you, Kim. We will talk later about so much going on the next this whole month. This session's going to be fast. And lastly, I think Heidi's here. Heidi Droschak of Money Out. Heidi? Hey, Heidi, welcome. And how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Money Out, we love Money Out. And so we've been working with y'all in that space. And so tell me, got any intentions or resolutions for your new year?
Got a lot for this year, but I will put campaign finance reform at the top of the list. I want to talk about it. I want to get it out there, and hopefully after years of inaction, we'd like to see some progress on campaign finance reform in Virginia this year.
I agree. I think all of us, it will make democracy just so much more fair, stronger, whatever those words are, definitely. So thank you for the commitment to Money Out. Thank you for being here. And next up, we have Cassidy Craighill, who's the Deputy Director of Clean Virginia, and also Clean Virginia sponsored our Women's Summit last year. We appreciate y'all, and big year for you. Happy New Year. What is you got an intention resolution?
Thanks. Yeah, Happy New Year.
Here.
I think this session, this legislative session, which kicks off next Wednesday, for us is all about transitioning to clean energy while keeping bills affordable for Virginia families and small businesses. So that is basically what I'm focused on. I'm also in the third trimester of pregnancy, so trying to make it to a due date as well, but very excited to be here.
That's very exciting. And that's the thing about Zoom, you can't see the belly down there, but congratulations on that wonderful news. And we're looking forward to hearing what you have to talk more about, because you guys have been doing a lot in Virginia. And so we appreciate you being here as well. So thank you, Cassidy. Again, it's just so much fun to be back. We really missed everybody in the room. And if you're new to the show, we do have some, we call etiquette. Yeah, we like to have fun. We like to be badass, but we also like to keep it civil in the chat. Share your stuff, but try to keep it real, authentic, and civil. And we appreciate that, because Stare up there likes to bounce people out if they get naughty. And so that's that. And then our favorite part, we're still doing our after chat. This is where we really do work and build on our community. So please stay after. If some of the guests are able to stay after, you may want to stick around a few minutes, because there may be some questions about your lobby days. So that will be cool. And also, I want to say that we are going in our third year, and we have a subscriber where you can become a patron, and that fuels our show for the Friday Power Lunch. And we'll put the link in there if you feel like maybe doing something this year that will help the grassroots or help invest in women like ourselves trying to build up this show and our organization. That'd be great. A special shout out to Pat Gadinsky. She's a newest patron, and she's also from a Moms Demand Action from Virginia Beach. So yes. But a lot of folks are down at the rally today at noon for the democracy rally. So Pat can't be here, but thank you, Pat. Awesome. So my favorite time of the show is to do a little chit chat with Fennell Norton, co-host. Hello, Happy New Year, Fennell.
Hello, and Happy New Year to you. I am really happy to start this year off.
Yeah,
we have a lot to talk about today.
We have a lot to talk about, and one thing that's on our mind, and I think we couldn't forget it, is the if you want to call it, it's so weird to call things an anniversary or a 2-year anniversary of the January 6th attack on our Capitol. But for us in this room who were there a few days later, Congressman Connolly joined us and in real time talked about what happened that day. And it's really important for us to remember this. And just like the other holidays, not a holiday, but important days in history, January 6th is embedded in these history books now.
Yeah, it is. This will go down as one of the most important days in American history. And it is a day that was watched around the world. So I am glad that we're going to take some time and just sort of pause for a minute and watch Congressman Connolly talk about it. And then I just have a few things, because I just think this is something that we just cannot look away from, and we just cannot disengage ourselves from. So I know we're short on time, so can we go right to the video?
I was on the floor of the House debating the certification of the results from Arizona. In an unprecedented move, the presiding officer who had replaced Nancy Pelosi said that we were going to hear a message from the police. So we were told that we had to evacuate immediately and that we needed to move very fast, that danger was very close. Exiting the floor chamber, I turned to my left, which is the Democratic side of the Speaker's lobby, and the two doors that allow you to enter the Speaker's lobby were barricaded. And there were all these faces and hands pounding at the windows. And that is about 5 feet from the House chamber floor. But I can tell you that in escaping to a shelter in the Longworth building, about 150 of us were housed there and couldn't leave for about 3.5 hours. We didn't know whether that would be stormed as well. And if it was, what would that mob do, having 150 members of Congress and staff, key staff from the floor and the clerk's office at their mercy. And there were reports of gunshot. We didn't know whether the mob was shooting too. We did know that they had weapons. We know that they also had plastic handcuffs, presumably to hold people hostage. I want you all to know that there were a lot of heroic actions by the police and by the sergeant at arms personnel. This was a violent event. 50 members of the police department, Capitol Hill Police, were injured, and tragically, one of them died last night, apparently having been violently injured with a fire extinguisher in trying to prevent the crowd, the mob, from succeeding. 4 others have also died, one being shot. It is important for American democracy that all of us have the intestinal fortitude to stand up to this threat. And one of the things I want you to know is my reaction was they are not going to prevail. Threat and intimidation and violence cannot be allowed to prevail. We must resume, no matter what the hour, in that House chamber and count those ballots until Biden and Harris are declared the winners. Because the world was watching what was happening to American democracy. But democracy did prevail. We did take back control of the Capitol. We did resume our business, and we fulfilled our constitutional duty.
That's still powerful. That day, we had planned for the congressman to come in, and so we were able to capture that. And I think every year we will show a snippet of that because it's just so much that is there. That and the takeaways for you, Fennell, you had some positive takeaways for us. Yes.
Yeah, I do. And so here's what I would say is I watched all 10 of those hearings. I mean, I came back to them. If I couldn't see it, I recorded it so that I could watch it. And I realized that so many people just did not have the ability to be able to take the time to do that. But they're powerful. But even more powerful than the hearings are the information that's come forward now. And there is one report, it is 841 pages. The cliff notes are like 180 pages. And so no one's going to get to read all of that. But the contents, the table of contents are pretty good. But there are always pieces of information that's in the news that gives you really, really good summaries of pieces of information that we have to hold close. So I think that there are just a couple of things that I'd really like for us to take away today in terms of that. One is that it is not far from any of us. If you just think about what's happening in the House right now on the 12th vote for Speaker of the House, and many of those people are folks who participated in January 6th, which is kind of scary, which means that these elections, these special elections that we're trying to talk about today, become even more important. But what would I say are the 3 most important things? One, just simply stay engaged. Don't look away. Figure out the nuggets of information that you can share with your family and friends and continue to share it and keep them updated. Continue to do exactly what you talked about this morning, which is stay in community so that you always know what's going on and so that you are inspired as best you can to be able to keep up the fight. And then I think the last thing is to amplify your knowledge and amplify the information that you get from other folks. And then the fun that we have and talk about through postcarding and canvassing and writing letters and phone calls, whatever it is that you can do that only you do well, then focus on doing those things. And that is what democracy is all about. So that's what January 6th means to me.
Well, yes, it's important that we talk about it. And like you said, the chaos we're seeing in the House is directly linked to these people that some of them got elected. But moving into this new year, I mean, I think, like you said, us in this room staying focused and adding that optimism that we will prevail, and that I think we're hopefully seeing, maybe it's going to get, as we say, always gets a little worse before it will eventually hopefully get better, but it means we definitely have to keep in this fight. And some really great things about the new year before we head into the special election with Aaron and Jade is that we had the legacy of Barbara Walters that we saw, really that fight in the journalism for a woman, and celebrating Jennifer McClellan's win in her primary. She will be most likely heading to Congress, will make history in Virginia, the first Black woman to be elected in Congress. A lot to have that optimism about, and that oomph to our step, because we keep doing great stuff. And so let's just go right into the election year. I think we bring up Aaron and Jade, and let's talk about the spotlighting these districts and get right into work. And then I will be circling back with the lobby day people. So
wonderful. So hi, Aaron and Jade. I'm so excited to have an opportunity to talk to both of you. Aaron, I know we talked before. Jade, this is our second time getting to chat. I was on your call a week ago. So here's where I'd like to start for you. This is HD24, Jade Harris, for those who are just joining. So first, just tell us a little bit about you.
Well, hi, I'm Jade. I'm 25 years old. It's pretty young, but I'd like to think I'm already pretty experienced for my age. I was the vice mayor of Glasgow and on Glasgow's town council from March 2021 until just the other day. I've been involved in politics since I was a young child. And you know what? I'm just trying to do a good job and make sure we're doing good work in our government and not just playing around, you know?
So Jade, you've probably seen a lot in your years in politics, and you've got a lot of experience, quite frankly. That's pretty serious. But here's my first question. Since you've started this race, Lindley has talked to us about the amount of work you've already done. What is it that you know now that you didn't know before you got started?
I just didn't know that there were so many avenues of people willing to help around the country, postcarding efforts. I just didn't know that network existed.
Wow. So how about this? You talked a little bit about the issues that you care about the most. You have a very, very rural community. You obviously grew up there, so you understand what rural living and communities are like. Talk to us about how you plan to win. Who is it that you're targeting? What is the plan?
So I'm targeting strong Democratic voters in our area just due to the nature of this race. I mean, it's going to be low turnout regardless because it's in the very beginning of January. The race itself was held over the holidays. So we're expecting very low turnout, but by targeting those strong Democratic voters, we're more likely to come out. Hopefully we'll get them to actually show up, and then that's going to be how we win.
So what's been the response so far? We know that you're doing an awful lot of canvassing, and that's where you are today. Talk to us a little about what the experience has been like on the door for you.
So it's actually been overwhelmingly positive. Everyone's extremely friendly. We're getting a really, really high response rate with the doors, higher than normal elections, which is surprising, but everyone's willing to talk, have a chat. A lot of people are so enthusiastic. They tell me, oh, I already voted for you. I voted for you a couple of days ago, but they still want to talk anyway, which has been really positive.
Very good. And so I'm going to come back because one of the other things that I want to know is what we can do. I know there's a lot of postcard writing going on. I know that there's a lot of canvassing going on. I know that folks, to your point, you said they're coming from around the country to support you. But what else is it? What else do you need? How are you feeling about the strategy? What can we do?
So we're going to have a major get out the vote effort on Saturday. And so that's going to be a lot of phone banking, people coming in from all around to help knock doors, text banking, all of those sorts of things. We're also having some paid canvassers come in. So any donations after this point will be going towards hiring them and getting them out on the streets and knocking.
Very good. And so Jade, this is a question that I have for you. So you come out, here you are, you're running for this seat in HD24. What is it that you tell people to say, this is our chance, here's why you should vote for Jade Harris?
I'm ready to go to work. That's the thing. I'm Gen Z, I'm energetic, I'm enthusiastic about the whole process, and I'm just ready to go to work for the people, get what needs to be done, done.
Very good. Thank you. So stay right there, and I'm going to go over to Aaron. Aaron, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I have to tell this really short story. So my mom just turned 80 years old yesterday, but a week or so ago, I went to visit her, and I sat at her desk, and there's this little piece of paper scribbled, and it's got Aaron Rouse on it, and it's got becoming the man of the house, and she had all these notes, and I said, "What are you doing with Aaron Rouse? She's on the Eastern Shore. What are you doing with this?" And she said, "Oh, I saw this young man on TV, and I want to talk to my grandson Kaiser about how he should be." So if you think your ads are being effective, my mom, who's moved by nothing, was really inspired by your ad. So talk to us a little bit about how the campaign is going.
Thank you. First of all, ladies, it's good to see everyone here today. And it is January 6th, and I would be remiss if I did not first start off by thanking Congresswoman Elaine Loria for all the hard work that she's done on the January 6th panel. Here's a woman who had a very tough race. I think she ran a very great race. She actually won SD7 and carried the city of Virginia Beach. But we know it was going to be a tough race. And when she lost her race, she did not retreat or go into hiding anywhere. She came out right away the very next, couple days later and endorsed our campaign because she understands just how important winning this special election is. It is going very, very well, but as you know, we don't get complacent around here. We stay focused. We're going to continue to work hard through January the 10th. We're phone canvassing. We're knocking doors. We're actually everywhere we can meet the people. We are there. So it's going very, very well. But again, this is an election where we've seen in our state where healthcare came down to 1 or 2 votes throughout our state, throughout the Commonwealth. And so we're not taking anything for granted. We're going to finish strong and start off the year right.
So very good. So tell me, what are you seeing and hearing at the doors from folks that you were talking to?
So it's been very surprising. It's like a lot of folks open the door and they go, "Wait a minute, you're here. You're Aaron Rouse. You're at the door." And so I get a bunch of, "Oh my God, this Aaron Rouse," and grab the camera. And so they go and grab the camera. But the most important issue that has come up time and time again is women's reproductive rights. And that is the most issue that, again, it has come up time and time again, knocking doors. Women do not want the government legislating their reproductive rights or touching their rights at all. And so, but it's been very enthusiastic and encouraging to know that people have already sent out their absentee ballots. They're voted by mail, but they also have a plan to vote in person, in which we'll be the only race that's on the ballot right now. And so it's been very encouraging that we have solidified a lot of support. And just by the sheer number of people who I saw the commercial, our ads have been very, very effective. And so we're going to continue to finish this race strong.
Very good. And so I'll ask you the same question that I asked Jade in terms of, what do you know now that you didn't know or think about when you started this race? And when you think about your strategy, is there anything that's changed since you started in terms of how you're looking at this race?
No, I think our strategy, you can't take anything for granted. No matter how much people say we're going to support you, we are supporting you. You want to make sure that that's followed through at the ballot. And so that is constantly following up, going to 1, 2, 3 or 4 times, making sure people have actually voted. And so what I've learned and what I've seen is that you cannot get complacent. We have 4 days left to win this race. My birthday is on Sunday, the 8th. I will be spending it knocking doors and canvassing and meeting with other churches just to make sure people understand how important it is that we win this race and do not roll back the hands of time when it comes to protecting rights of women in our state.
Yeah, I'd like to think that I have to tell you, I was crushed and devastated by Elaine's loss because I think that she's just done so much for our district that it was really troubling for me, but I'm getting over it. But I think the win for all of us will be you winning that seat. And I also think that maybe some folks who were a little complacent about how important that race really was, hopefully there'll be folks who will say, "Oh, wait a minute, we can't sit back again." And that they'll get out and they'll not only get themselves out, but they'll get their friends and family out. So Aaron, I'll just give you 10 seconds. What is it that you want us to walk away with today?
I just want you all to walk away with, listen, we're going to win this race because we have strong supporters from all over women's rights groups such as Planned Parenthood, Row Your Vote, Clean Virginia Environmentalist Group, as well as the unions, SEIUs, AFL-CIOs, who are all here in our community, knocking doors, canvassing. We're going to win because we have a diverse group of volunteers and supporters who want to make sure Virginia goes forward and not backwards.
Thank you, Aaron. Jade, 10 seconds. What do you want us to walk away with today?
I just want you all to walk away knowing that there's an energized youth population who's ready to help out and join the government and make sure that progress keeps going forward.
Thank you. Aaron and Jade, thank you so much. Catherine, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, we're going to go. Thank you. That was really inspiring. And Jade, it's true. This is the key to this year, is really getting involved with the young voices that were really going to be affected by the policy that we're talking about now. So LUISA Boyarski, the leader of the Grassroots Coalition, we're just going to go straight into action, my friend. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And absolutely. So I love that we were talking about the special elections, but my message is it doesn't end with elections. We learned when we flipped the House and Senate in Virginia in 2019 that we can't just leave it there. We can't just have our legislators go off to Richmond and then not be involved during the legislative period. And so I want to encourage everyone to think about how can you be helpful as we go into our 2023 legislative session. As many of you know, Virginia state legislature meets for one of the shortest periods of a year compared to other states. This means that there's an overwhelming number of bills that need to be reviewed by our legislators, and they also have full-time jobs. And so it's really our job to help them understand what bills do we think need to be passed, what bills do we think need to be opposed, because they can't possibly read all 2,000 bills that are going to be filed by the 11th of January. So we are really excited to have a number of working groups that are part of our coalition that will be issuing calls to action. These groups have been helping draft legislation with our legislators. They've been reviewing legislation that's already been posted, and they are going to help put together these calls to action so you know what positions we'd like to take and how you can contact your legislators about those pieces of legislation. We know that this works. It worked last year. So for example, and I think Robin is going to show you a slide about it, we successfully opposed Bill SB 20, which would have reversed the protections for trans kids that were signed into law in 2020 by Governor Northam. 143 people, hopefully including some of you, responded to our call to action. And through the call to action, you sent emails to 9 legislators on the committee, which ended up voting to kill the bill. This was really important because there's so many really great legislation that we passed in 2020 and 2021 that Republicans last year tried to roll back, and they're going to try to roll back again this year. We are going to need to have a number of calls to action asking our legislators to stand up and oppose bills that are rolling back the gains that we've made. Another call to action that was really successful last year, we asked our state senators to reject Wheeler as Virginia's Secretary of Natural Resources. You helped us send over 400 letters to 21 Democratic state senators and your personal legislators. And because of this, Wheeler was rejected. So these are the kinds of things we're going to be asking you to help us with this year as well. Your emails, your letters, your phone calls, your written and oral testimony, they really all make a difference. Our legislators tell us that they are also receiving messages from the opposing side, and we need to drown out the other side with messages from you. Lastly, I want to let you know you can find a list of our priority bills that we will be working on during the 2023 legislative session on the Virginia Grassroots Coalition website. And we will also be listing the calls to action there too. So please make sure you check out the website, but you'll also find those calls to action in Stairs Tuesday tidbits. So if you are on the power lunch, you are going to be receiving those calls to action as well. The most important thing I want to leave you with is we would love for you to do the calls to action, but we also need you to share them with your group members, your family, and your friends. If you have not already power mapped yourself, please do so. And I'm going to ask Stair to share that power mapping link in the chat. And please also share the power mapping link with people that you know who could easily get involved by helping do those one-click calls. They take 30 seconds. And the reason this is helpful is that with the power mapping, we can zero in on a particular legislator who we know is waffling on how they're going to vote on a bill. And we can contact you directly and say, hey, your contact is going to make a huge difference. We really need Delegate X or Senator Y to hear from you in the next 48 hours. So if you are interested in getting more involved beyond these calls to action, please come to our coalition meeting this Sunday at 6 p.m. where we're going to be discussing the priority bills. And also at the Power Lunch next week, we are going to be having our press conference with Personality, where you can hear more detail about some of the key bills that we're going to be working on during this legislative session and hear from some of our legislators who will tell us more about them.
Woo! No, awesome. And the coalition is going down this weekend along with Planned Parenthood. I saw Jamie Lockhart come in the room. I don't know if she's still here, but Planned Parenthood Advocates of Virginia have planned this great weekend. The Grassroots Coalition is joining. I'm sure there's still room for people to come down. You're going to even go to dinner Saturday night and have a lot of fun. So good for you planning this. And I think, what do you have, about 16, 20 people coming down? And
is this for the canvassing for Aaron?
It's canvassing for Aaron this weekend. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Canvassing this weekend, big weekend to get out the vote, and the coalition is leading this along with Planned Parenthood organized it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Virginia Democracy Forward, among other grassroots groups, have really been coming together to gather canvassers to go down to Virginia Beach this weekend. If you can, please, please, please. This makes a big difference. As Aaron said, people want to hear about this. Not everyone knows that there's going to be this special election. It's very atypical to have an election on the day before the legislature starts. And we need Aaron in that seat, as we know, to make sure that we, one, stop some of these bills that are trying to roll back our rights, but also there are going to be some key bills that we want to try to pass this year. Absolutely. And his vote is going to be key.
It's that, and I think it shows momentum that we're really engaging. The grassroots is really rowing together, which I love to see. And so thank you, Louisa, for that great update. And I look forward to next week with the press conference. That will be awesome. And I want to bring up we're going to start talking a little bit about all of this action, where it happens with groups like Clean Virginia. We wanted to give you a special spotlight. You have a lot going on this year and your first ever lobby day. So Cassidy Craighill, Deputy Director, Clean Virginia, tell us about what you're concentrating on this particular legislative session.
Thank you so much for taking the time to spotlight some of these issues. For those of y'all who don't know, Clean Virginia is a small nonprofit based in Charlottesville. What our motivating belief is that Virginians should pay fair prices for clean renewable energy. And we believe that a more ethical and transparent state government is key to achieving that goal. Unfortunately, right now we are in a big energy burden crisis where our energy bills are going up and up and up, yet the cost of clean energy is falling nationwide. So what is wrong with that picture? Basically, the rules of the game are really rigged in electric utility monopolies' favor and not in the favor of ratepayers and customers across Virginia. So Clean Virginia every year works with a really exciting and broad coalition of partners to combat that crisis and to level the playing field. So that, yes, Dominion Energy has a fair profit and they can operate as a utility and keep the lights on, but that communities, particularly the ones already dealing with extreme weather and climate impacts, are not burdened by energy bills going up and up and up well past the national average. And I'm sure all of us have probably experienced those increases this year. And Virginia is unique in a lot of this, where we pay some of the highest bills, and it will only get worse this winter with home heating prices expected to reach their highest in a decade. So this really is a crisis. But at the same time, Dominion Energy, Virginia's largest utility, ends up overcharging customers by hundreds of millions every year. In fact, just last year, 152 million, and that's not returned to customers. So that's a big problem, but it's also something that we can easily fix if we change the rules of the game, like I said. And I keep going back to a game metaphor because that is sort of what we're talking about. Who are the fair referees managing this game? And we really want that to be the State Corporation Commission, who are in charge of regulating electric monopolies. If I'm a Dominion Energy customer, I can't go shop around for another option if I don't like the price. So that's the problem here. The good news is that there are, like I said, a really broad group of organizations that are working alongside patrons who are pushing forward bipartisan solutions this session. And that's really a key part of it, since we've got a Republican House, Republican executive office, and a Democratic Senate. And so it's really important that all of these solutions are bipartisan so that they last and then they actually pass this year, right? So I encourage everybody, and I think my colleague is in the chat. If not, I'll drop it in when I'm done here.
I see her busy working already over there.
Great. Yeah, so if folks want to visit energyburdencoalition.org, that is where you can find out more information about our lobby day, which is happening January 26th. This is the first lobby day this coalition has done, so we are super excited. That is going to be in Richmond. There's also ways to get involved if you can't make it to Richmond, and you can talk to your legislators about supporting bipartisan bills to fix this crisis. And yeah, hope to see a lot of y'all there on January 26th.
No, it's good. And, we're going to start just the rapid fire round and just bring up and just stay with us, Cassidy, because it's all going to be about lobby, lobby, lobby. But remember that this is only a few of the lobby days. We have some great organization. We want to bring up Susan from Moms Demand Action. We have Kim Bobo, the executive director of the Virginia Interfaith Center for Public Policy. Then we also have Heidi. Bring up Heidi Drushuk, Money Out. I see Nancy Morgan in the room. A lot of your different peers are here that are working the good fight. And of course, we have Cassidy here. Not present, but always front and forward is the leaders in Planned Parenthood of advocates that are having their lobby day. And also Repo Rising. Tarina has sent some good links to us and actions that I'll talk about after doing this nice rapid fire with you all. So I'd like to start with Kim, go to Susan, then to Heidi. And I'd like to, when we talk at rapid fire, we want to keep it to around 2 minutes, but it's more about, not just the date, Kim, but what the heck and the spirit behind these lobby days and what you really want to see accomplished. So let's start with Kim. Let's hear it. Convince people in this room to come out for these lobby days and work with you. You have a good sandwich? Do you have a good sandwich? What do you got?
We have one of the funnest lobby days. We've done it many years. We've been virtual the last couple of years. We're going to be back in person, better than ever. We're going to meet people at the doors when they come to register with hot donuts from a donut truck. We'll have meetings set up with everyone's senator and delegate, but you have to register ahead of time so we can get all the meetings set up. Then we have some workshops in the afternoon. If you're from Northern Virginia or you're from the Tidewater area, we have buses coming, and there'll be snacks on the buses and good times and conversations. And so it really is going to be a great thing. We're really pushing a bunch of things where we've worked hard to find Democrat patrons in the Senate and Republican patrons in the House. Now, maybe we won't have to do that in 24, but that's what we have to do this year to win some of these things. And I think we've got a good setup on solitary confinement, on a requirement on training for healthcare professionals on unconscious bias. I think, again, Republican and Democrat patrons. We've got a paid sick day bill. We can't win it this year, maybe in 24, but we'll run the bill, get it out of the Senate, can't get it out of the House. And then we've got a bunch of budget amendments on affordable housing. And again, we've got a bunch of great Republican patrons in the House. So it's a really realistic package. It's great stuff. Love to have you come. It's really fun.
I love what you're working on. Yesterday went to Market Simon's his Road to Richmond, and that housing is really important. It's not really in the budget to date, that the governor maybe doesn't have it in there yet, right?
No, so, in fact, he's talking a big game about housing affordability, but talk
budget tells it all,
and the budget tells it all. That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Kim. That you had me at warm donut. Okay, so there you go. I don't know, Susan, you may have to make something up like Pop-Tart. I'm not really sure. Let's hear from Susan, who's doing also really excited about your lobby day. Go ahead, Susan.
Well, Catherine, I'm not sure we have donuts, but I think I'm going to have to go get some now. So we'll make sure we get some donuts. So ours is next Friday, or the week from Friday, on January 13th. We have buses going as well, but really exciting. We have keynote speaker for our 9 a.m. rally, Jen McClellan, who is soon to be hopefully our next Congresswoman. We also have, this is special. We have our founder, Shannon Watts. She will be joining us at 9 a.m. for our rally. That's a big deal, Virginia. So she'll be there. And as I said, we have over 200 volunteers from across the state who are coming either by bus or by, I guess not boat, but by car. And we have a bus here in Hampton Roads, for Southampton Roads, Virginia. We have in Norfolk and Chesapeake and Virginia Beach. And the honor is that we have our community partners joining us. We have Teens with a Purpose. We have Souls. We have HR Mask. We have Stop the Violence 757. These are people who have started, usually they have suffered, gun violence in their families, and they have started foundations, and they do the work, and they will be on the bus with us. We are concentrating on priority legislation. We all know what the makeup of General Assembly is right now. We don't think we're going to pass big gun, violence prevention legislation, but what we're going to work on is secure storage. We have the number one, I'm going to say it, killer of our children in this country, of kids and under 17 is gun violence. It's guns. So we need to secure our storage, our guns. We have banning ghost guns for a few $100. You can get online and you can buy an unserialized, untraceable, do-it-yourself gun. So we need to do something about that. With the recent mass shooting at Walmart and UVA, where my daughter goes to school, we need to concentrate on permit to purchase legislation. So we'll be working on that. And we need to work on bills that release us from not being able to hold the gun companies liable. So I will put in the chat how you sign up for that. Any questions you have, Catherine?
No, well, I'm knowing that the date, again, Moms Demand Action across the state. You can join them from wherever you are. This is on a Friday, the 13th, and I know we'll be doing our press conference on the show here, but we will somehow make sure we're highlighting what you're doing, even though we probably won't be able to join you that particular day because we'll be here. We'll figure it out, but we really hope that the audience, people listening, that you get as many people down as possible.
Yes, and across the state, we know your districts. All the people who have signed up. We made appointments for your senators and your delegates, and we will be with you, and we will give you talking points.
No, great, Susan. Thank you so much. It's very exciting. And then also Kim Bobo, somebody asked where she's from. I saw her answer, but I did introduce her she's executive director of Virginia Interfaith Center for Public Policy. Great organization, and just read her bio. I love Kim. Kim has just a really long history of organizing around really important issues that affect people and humanity. And so next up, which a lot of us really want to see, is Money Out. We have Heidi Droschak here with us. Go ahead, Heidi. What do you want to talk about? What are we doing? And you got a donut or no donuts?
I don't know if we have. Yeah, I don't know if we have donuts, but we will have breakfast and we will have great sandwiches for lunch. So we can offer food. So I'm here with Big Money Out Virginia. Just for those of you that know, we are an organization advocating for campaign finance reform here in Virginia. Not the sexiest of issues, but until we fix some of these systemic issues, it's really difficult to have real conversations of progress around all the other issues that we care about. So we are hosting our first ever Democracy Day on January 24th. We are going to be talking about campaign finance reform. We are going to be talking about good governance issues. We have an exciting day of activities planned. We will start with an 8 a.m. rally first thing in the morning, and then we will have a press conference at 8:30. And we will follow that up with committee testimony, actually sitting in on the session, and then meeting with legislators, of course, which, as the other groups mentioned, we will help. If you're interested in coming down, we will facilitate that for you so you can talk about some of these important issues with legislators. And just so everybody knows about our priorities, again, we are setting realistic expectations, like I think a lot of groups are, but we would love to see a personal use ban come out of this General Assembly. That is something we have fought for years. Right now, Virginia candidates can spend any of their campaign funds on anything they'd like. So we would like to see that change. We also will be fighting for increased disclosure on campaigns and for donors and for candidates. Again, a lot of these issues seem common sense, but we've seen them die year after year. And so our goal is to really be there and show legislators that people are watching and they care about how the outcomes in this legislation. We'll also be fighting for ranked choice voting. We have a bunch of co-sponsors. So you can learn more about all of our priorities on the website. You can sign up on the Eventbrite, which I think someone included in the chat. But yeah, we would love to see people out because again, until we fix some of these systemic issues, it's really hard to have real conversations about the other issues when we have unlimited amounts of corporate and campaign contributions coming in from every side. So yeah, very, very excited.
Yeah,
and
Virginia is notorious for this, right? This is something that we got to clean up, and it's really important what Money Out's doing. So thank you, Heidi, for that. That's really exciting. And I want to say, and Stara said to me something that was really good. She made sure that I mention that, lobby days and why people out there that are listening, that people should think about going and participate is one, they're just really fun. Somebody has done all the work for you. This is, as an activist, sometimes we're so busy, but everything is laid out for you. You just sign up, go down from the lunch, from things to do, from the setup with the senator. It's really a great day to just sort of be in the moment and listen and be able to talk to senators and delegates and meet the people you've been maybe on Zoom with. But it's all set up for you. And Stara will be down there that week. So if you want to contact Stara, she has even a place to stay. You may want to go over and, chat with her or stay overnight if you need a place. And then there's also, like the groups have said, some groups have buses, food, different activities. So yeah, get involved. So I appreciate all you for getting in, telling us all about your lobby days, and Happy New Year to you all. Thank you. Thank you. And before that I would want to talk about, because they're not in the room, excuse me, the big leadership the big lead in this coming year is going to be about growing your vote, reproductive rights. And, like I said, Repo Rising could not be here. Planned Parenthood is probably still in the room. I was on their call the other night. They're really working hard for this weekend to get Aaron Rouse elected. But also they're going to have a lobby day, and it's January 23rd. And all these dates will go out to you in the recap. And they'll be working with Virginia Reproductive Equity Alliance. And that's going to be a day they're going to be put in the chat for you. This Virginia Reproductive Equity Alliance group is going to be working the next couple of years to work on the constitutional amendment. Senator McClellan is carrying it, and Chanel Herring is in the House is carrying a constitutional amendment. So this is going to really put this front and center for the years that it will take to make sure that we protect reproductive rights in Virginia. And it will not go away until we really see this through. And that's just going to be the way it's going to be. And there's also a petition you can sign right now. Tarina Keene, the executive director of Repro Rising, sent it over. No abortion bans in Virginia petition. Stara, if you can drop that in, you can sign this petition now and send it out to your groups, please. They want thousands of people signing this petition because they want to fund these billboards all over and social media to say no bans, no abortion bans, no ban is a good ban, and that they're really we know the governor is going to, first thing they're going to do, they already have a couple really bad, terrible abortion, contraceptive bans. They have, you name it, they already laid some of these bad bills out. And then lastly, we will see that 15-week ban by the governor pretty soon, and it will drop probably on the last day that it's allowed to drop. So please stay involved. Love it. Love it. Learning all about that lobby days is so exciting. So anyways, it's that time. And you know, Robin, it's 12:57. We caught up a little bit. What do you think?
I love it, which means we have time to talk a little bit about the Friday Power Lunch and what an amazing year we had. So
let's talk about us.
Yeah, let's talk about us. Here you go.
Let's talk about us, baby. Okay. So what we wanted to show is that if you are a Patreon or if you're in this space with us, that this is some fun stats that Robin put together about what we did. It kind of shows some great stuff we put together. How many guests we had just this year on the show? 188. How many? 38 number of, we had 38 different states represented in our audience, in our live audience. 5,000 people participating in our live audience, 10,000 total people who saw the shows live and on video, and 155 number of Virginia cities that were represented in the live audience. So that will show you how much we're growing. And this is going into our third year, which just amazes me, anyways, that we've stuck in this. And that as long as you show up, as long as you find us valuable, we will continue doing this work because we felt it's essential to be bold, to be strong, to go big, and to go all in, Virginia, to win. So I wanted to say thank you to everybody. If you signed up to be a patron and want to support the show, yay. And we may have some more mugs. I don't know, Stair, if we do or not, but I'll let you talk about mugs maybe next week. And also you can follow us on social media, stay for the after chat, and you will get a recap of all this stuff we talked about today because there's so much to follow. You may have forgot even some of the dates. I want to thank you to the awesome team in the room who does a lot of this work that makes this show happen every week. Robin Warner, the show wizard. Happy New Year, friend. Fennell Norton, show messenger. Happy birthday to Mom. Fennell, what was she, 83? Amazing. Heidi Dragneff, always keeping it real on social media for us and just bringing it all the time. She's a power to follow on Twitter and any other social media. Thank you, Heidi, for a great year with you. And Dennis Orsinger. Dennis, Happy New Year. She makes the wonderful graphics. She's getting us already started for the Women's Summit, our 7th year, July 22nd and 23rd. Put it on your calendar. And of course, Laura Martinez, that always showing up for us in the Zoom to help us along. And our newcomer chat liaison, for anybody new to the room, get to know Michelle McKinney. You can private message her when you're on the show, anything you want to say. If you have any feedback for us, please go ahead and send it to Michelle or any questions. And also our content concierges, Julie Galdo, Alvina McCall, and Sally Renholt. They keep us real. So we don't have all this misspellings and bad vocabulary. So thank you, ladies, for that help. And I hope you stay for the after chat and hope you hold on tight. It's going to be a roller coaster ride, but as long as we're going together, we'll get to the end and in a bright way. So thank you. Let's roll credits and see you on the other side, 2023.